Welcome to the second issue of Automationeer Standoff review. Hello everybody from Normal Voxel.
Good day everyone, Pirlix here.
Well, in the last episode we reviewed expensive high-end sports executive sedan. You remember the Baltazar Quark and the BMMA Narval. And I think we have to find a balance today, and we have to find out which is the best basic motoring money can buy.
And for that purpose I brought the best-selling entry-level cars of the 90s. The Seishido Achernar 1.6i and the Baltazar Quark 1.7i.
Doesn't seem very much basic with those mid-size engine. I mean, here in Italy, 1.6 liter or 1.7 liter can be properly labeled as basic motoring.
It's pretty much the same all over Europe, but considering that those cars were made on the focus of providing mass motoring for the whole world, and not just Europe, it's not a big of an issue, I think.
And do you think they named the car after the cheese?
Do you mean the Seishido?
No, the Quark.
Oh, I think it was named after the elementary particle.
Ah, of course. Okay, fair enough, let's take a look at them. The best-selling model of the Brazilian compact car is the Swagon, here featured in the turquoise color. It's not as fancy as the bezel we've seen in the last episode, there is no Agnelli Dumont work here, but seems to have been conquered a lot of market slices in the 90s. I can't really see why, nothing seems particularly eye-catching here.
Well, it has quite a big boot, enough room for the average family and an engine. What else do you want? Take a look at the Swagon's biggest competitor, the Achernar. It's your average Japanese hatchback, solid engine, solid craftsmanship, and an average design.
But seems to be rock solid with no frills, only business. And the business in this case is giving the best value for money ratio possible. Keep in mind, these are very different cars, but anyway, both sound like peanuts in the same huge market slice. And I can figure it why. So time to switch on our X-ray superpowers and start to find out what they're hiding.
Let's take a look at 1.6 of the Seishido, and wow, that's a heavy bonnet. Must be that the lowering construction yet again. And that's an old-fashioned engine, paired with high-tech.
Indeed, but don't get misled by the cast iron engine block. Under this rock cover beat a hover square 1.6 liter single overhead cam engine with 16 valves, variable valve timing, high flow cat and multi-point fuel injection. This little engineering wonder delivers 100 horsepower, well, at least this is what's written on the paper, all delivered at the front wheels.
100 is a very round number. I think we should put on the dyno and see if it's real or just marketing. Oh well, 94 horsepower. Told you, just marketing. We'll see if the Baltazar did the same trick.
Yeah, but before, don't you think that the engine hits red line right when the fun was starting? I mean, it's an oversquare with variable valve timing and high flow cat. Damn it, I was expecting something less ordinary than this.
You're right, it reached 94 horsepower at 6200 and cuts off at 6400. Which, in my opinion, is a bit early. You could easily rev it to 7k, change the mapping, and have around 110 horsepower with almost no work.
I wonder how much you could have with forged pistons and a different camshaft. Anyway, time to open the bonnet of the Quark. On the looks, seems we are not far away from the Seishido, but on the tank side, we are stuck in the 70s here.
Oh come on, it has a very nice MPFI system, uncommon for a cheap car in the 90s.
Yeah, but it have no variable valve timing, it is massively undersquare and it have only 2 valves.
It's only the 1990s. What did you expect? 5 valves per cylinder?
Fine, okay. How many horsepower we have on paper?
They claim it's 80 horsepower at 5400 revs.
Yeah, another round number that we have to check out. On the dyno! Okay, it really has 80 horsepower. Well done, Baltazar.
At least they were honest.
Indeed. Now, moving on the suspension department, both seems to have McPherson on fronts. At least this is what we've seen under the bonnet. But let's take a look at the rear suspension. So, squeezing under the Baltazar, let's take a look. What you're hiding here, Quark? Oh yes, this is torsion beam, expected with big and low flat loading bay in the back. What we have under the Seishido Pelix, another torsion beam?
That's interesting. You may have expected torsion beam, but the guys at Seishido went for semi-trailing arm construction. I wonder why they went for that.
I can bet they're planning to make an extreme all-wheel drive version. Think about it. Of a square engine, high flow cat, independent suspensions all around, hatchback, it smells like a rally version is coming.
Oh well, I'll take a trip on a Seishido then and see if it's worth to make a rally version out of it. There are no big issues on this car considering the riding comfort. I was worried in the beginning by the sporty seating position, the low ground clearance and the short stick shifter, but there is really nothing wrong about it. The modern suspension does a good job in keeping you comfortable, and the standard power steering helps you to move the car in the town or maneuvering it into tight parking spots. The little 1.6 liter engine pushes the car from 0 to 100 in less than 11 seconds, and the brakes are sufficient as well. In just under 40 meters I came to a full halt from 100, and thanks to the standard ABS I could have been able to avoid an obstacle if there was one. The short-geared 5-speed gearbox made the car feel quite sporty, but the 15-inch 165s will limit you there. It also has standard traction control, which reduces wheel spin, and it totally makes sense now if you think about it. This car has the ability to go into a racing league. It wants to be tuned up. It craves for performance. Norman is right. We will probably see a high-performance, all-wheel drive Achernar anytime soon. But what I'm driving now is just your everyday 5-seater city hatchback for everyday driving, and not the all-wheel drive rally car from the dreams.
In the meanwhile, Pirlinx is having fun on the soon-to-be Rally Championship winner. I'm tasting this Brazilian family hauler hit, and I can say that I'm really amazed by the comfort achieved by this car. The suspension are soft enough to cut the road imperfection effectively, and even if the engine is less smooth due to the over-square ratio, it don't spoil the comfort. It doesn't have traction control like the Seishido, but it will be really unnecessary because the first gear is so long that is a bit of a nuisance to operate in the city traffic. Anyway, it takes 13.3 seconds to go from 0 to 100 and brakes a little better than the Achernar, not only thanks to the ABS system and the heavy-duty dual-piston front brakes, but also thanks to the wider 175 tires. At least it have an overdrive gear that really helped to increase the comfort during the long road trips. On the corner, the cars hit the tire limits earlier than the Seishido, and even if feel tamer on the constant cornering, on quick direction change the car is less stable, probably due to long boot.
So, are you up for a quick drag race?
Oh, come on, it doesn't make any sense. You're going to win. So why we don't make a loading challenge, so see how many groceries bags will fit in the tiny hatchback boot.
That is pointless. You will win, I mean, you have the swaggin'.
Indeed, so we can try to compare maybe, I don't know, the cabin space.
Well, go ahead and check the Seishido.
Okay.
I'm going to the Quark.
Well, this is roomy, more than the Quark I have to say.
Well, yeah, but all the room will be filled with groceries that won't fit in the boot.
Okay, that's true. As all the people usually do when they have small hatchbacks. So, going back to the start of this review. What we have found with our X-ray superpowers, did we manage to understand why they are so different and why they sold so much, nonetheless the differences?
That's simple. One car is made for the family who drives long distances or holds a lot of groceries, but cannot afford an MPV or something else. The other one is made for the young bloke who wants a cool little car in which he can feel like the next rally champion, under the disguise of an entry-level car, of course.
Two completely different market demographic, and that is why both worked well. Now, the biggest question, if we were back in the 1990s, which car would you choose? Between these two, of course.
Well, I probably would choose the Seishido, because it feels sportier, and I'm not a big fan of a wagon.
Well, I'm very conflicted. The Baltazar is very good on a lot of aspects. I like it to have a lower fuel consumption, I like it to have a more reliable car, and also the car costs $250 less than the Seishido. But that long first gear really sank my interest in it. Unfortunately, I have to say, because it is a great car for everything but city driving, if you have to choose something else.
But that does not mean that the Baltazar is bad at all. I mean, it's a great car, but we are more of the sporty drivers.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So, it's pretty much set. Thank you guys for watching. Good night.
Cheers, folks!